Folks, we're going to get into the second topic of the evening. This one is the big Doom one. Now, like I said in the opening, there were several people in the games community that we all know and love that put up these big write-ups. The one I'm particularly using today is Okami13 underscore. He's a phenomenal content creator himself, but he's also a massive creator for dropping these big news bombs as he finds them out. Now, the guy is obviously connected. Well, I saw the same write-up come the way of Clobriel, who's another phenomenal member of the community. Hazardor Gaming, Shinobi602 put up a big write-up as well. These are all people that I follow. Most of them follow me, and they're people that you should definitely follow if you're into gaming news. Casante, I'm going to you first here because Okami13 put out this thread. And from what, I mean, we already knew that Doom the Dark Ages had the potential to not only return Doom to its roots, but be one of the most goriest. If it could get any gorier than the last one, this one seems to have taken a real page out of some pop culture things. Why do I say that? Because I'm going to read you the list that comes the way again of Okami13 underscore. And here are the new gameplay details that have been unearthed by several people in the games community. Apparently, it has been influenced by Batman Year One and the Dark Knight comics, which returned Batman to its roots. And of course, this is the Dark Ages, so it does seem like they are returning to where the Doom guy started. It says here that the shield saw itself reacts differently depending on what it's cutting, whether it be flesh, armor, energy shields, or etc. The block button can be held down for a short lock-on effect. We also learned that while locked onto an enemy, you can do a shield bash that charges you forward and closes the distance to that enemy. Let's see. Shield bash will be your main weapon, your main way of zipping around the battlefield since there's no double jump or dash in this game. You can also parry with the shield. Game will have accessibility options to adjust the parry windows / difficulty options. You can also, of course, like Captain America, throw your shield. This will also be used for environmental puzzles like breaking chains. It goes on to say, furthermore, parry recharges melee. Melee refills ammo. There are 3 melee weapons: Gauntlet for fast, Flail for medium, and the mace, which of course is going to do massive damage, is incredibly slow. Guns have a more medieval theme to them and less futuristic. Even though some of them are returning weapons, the levels are the biggest ever in any Doom game and will have a more sandbox feel. And it goes on to say a couple more points, folks. About an hour or so per level is the sweet spot, but completionists can extend this. A typical level will be broken up into acts, such as an interior dungeon area and then more open areas, etc. Finally, it goes on to say that ID Software has wanted to put Atlans, which of course those are the giant mechs, in the game for about 8 years, and they've teased it in previous games. You saw them like collapsed and broken in the last Doom in one of some of the bigger open levels. And lastly, the story will now be at the forefront of the game, a departure from the previous games where it was mostly in just text notes. I mean, Keasante, this sounds like it's going to be amazing. We've seen gameplay. This has everything I could possibly want from Doom, keeping to what we know and love, but giving us so much more. And listen, you're going to be battling what it seemed like to be kaijus, because you're going to get into like a Godzilla-esque type of mech, and you're going to be fighting these things. This could be one of those games that come out and not only steals the zeitgeist of the community, wins Game of the Year 2025. What are your thoughts, man?
So when I saw this game first show off, right? And every trailer subsequently that I've seen, and of course these write-ups as well, I have a very odd thought. So go with me here, okay? Honestly, I think at this point, what is id Tech? What is id going to do after this? Because this is their swan song. Like, it's like they had a nugget of an idea and they've iterated and iterated and iterated and like this trailer is like the culmination of everything they've been building since that original Doom idea first kind of came about. They were like, we can do this, and now we have the technology to do it. And they're literally throwing kitchen sinks at you in the form of Captain America shields. You know what I mean? Like they're mulching like freaking skull matter in order to use it as bullets to for the chamber of this thing, right? I feel like this is the id team saying, oh yeah, we are not able to get an award. Watch us. We will throw everything at this, and if you don't want to give us an award, it'll be your problem. It'll be your fault for not doing that, not us not really putting it out there. My question is, what's their next work? Because it's no longer Doom. I think this is their last. This is the magnum opus. I think this is it. This is every bullet in every single gun they have to say, okay, are you no longer entertained? What else can we do to show you that this is actually worthy? I think this is the culmination of it all.
I mean, I mean, what you're saying makes sense, but it's going to be a sad day in hell if there's no more Dooms. I'll say that.
Well, I suspect after this they'll be tired and they'll move on and do something with like rainbows and like flowers.
Well, Current Cosmos says Quake next, and there's been
there you go. There you go. Absolutely,
they have a new Quake, but
yeah. But you know what I'm saying? I feel like every time they make a good one, it's great, like so great, and it's like so good that they've been kind of like pigeonholed, right? Like it's like when they make another really good one, it's like it's them. They're doing another good one. You just expect it, and then they move on, right? Rather than be gobsmacked and mouth agape at the amazing graphical fidelity and technical prowess that's being put on display every time, it's almost like they're a victim of their own success. So now they're literally going to shake the tree loose and beat their genius into your eyeballs and say, are you entertained? That's what it looks like to me. Right? I mean, what else could they have done at that point?
You're not wrong. I mean, obviously, one thing I did go over that I missed, because again, it's a very stout list, was the platforming that a lot of people did not like has been removed. So there's not going to be. I mean, you're going to be able to get around using the disc saw, and now be able to get you to like higher places. But it's less. It's going to be much less of an issue for the platforming than it was in the last Doom. Which again, I didn't mind it, but it was a lot.
Yeah. Doom was not the place for that level of platforming. It was fun. I enjoyed my time with it, but I understand those who complain that it wasn't really like the best use of the Doom guys' time. I do get that. I really do think that this is them like at the height of their powers, just kind of just showing off at this point. What else can they really do at this point? There's not much else. Well, after this, you know what? As I'm saying this, my brain just said, no, there is one more plateau after this. After this, I need to see Master Chief with my Doom guy. That's what I want.
That would be dope. Yeah. I mean, I'd love some sort of Elseworlds story.
Yeah. Because that's the only other plateau they need to hit after this. Like, you got mechs there, you got dragons going. What else do you need to do at this point? You are mulching human skull for bullet matter. Like, what else are we doing?
I mean, that was kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Right?
I don't know. I mean, Master Jazz 09 says Doom is a game-ass video game, and that's what it's supposed to be, and that does not win awards. And you know something? I mean, look, I think this game is going to win awards, even though it's exactly what he said. It seems like they did go back to the drawing board. And like I said, literally from the opening of what I read that Okami put out there was they took for inspiration Batman Year One. And if you've ever read that, first of all, it's a great read if you are a fan of Batman. It just goes to show you where he is now to where he originally started. It's a tale of two different Batman. You got to remember, he's learning as he's going around beating up criminals. It was very well written. But One Bad Mother, let's get your thoughts on it, because again, it is a bit of a laundry list. I did send it to you. You were able to get a chance to take a look at it.
Yeah.
I honestly, there isn't anything on this list that I was like, yeah, I could live without that. No, I actually, and a lot of the things they're going to be using in this Doom game, or Doom: The Dark Ages, are tried and true and have not seen the light of day in a minute. But it does seem like the series itself is going to be a little bit more, return to form.
Yeah, well, I think there was one thing that really stood out in that laundry list. I mean, a couple things are, that have already been takeaways. Is number one, is that engine. Like, I think we need to see this engine in probably more places. We did get a little clip of
Halo potentially.
I don't think they're going to use it in Halo. I think they're going to keep going with
that
their
ship
Unreal.
has sailed.
Yeah, I think that ship has sailed,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But this engine just looks really cool, and we don't know how it would feel with everything. But I would love to see new IPs or new reimagined IPs, and even Quake, which is the one everybody assumes would be cool to kind of see. But yeah, that engine really stands out. But the other things that, like, from when they were showing this at the showcase, the thing that really got me excited about this is somebody. I have beaten the last two, the 2016 and the Doom Eternal and the DLC. One of the issues I had with Doom Eternal, though, for whatever reason, and it could have been just a me problem. Maybe it's a me getting older problem. Is, man, that game just made me tired. It was one of the sweatiest single player games. I like difficult games, but it wasn't that it was just difficult. It was, you couldn't take your eyes off the screen. You couldn't cough. You couldn't do anything. It had you going constantly. And the only time you did get a slight breather was when you were doing platforming. So it was, it really just kind of, the pacing and everything of it was a lot. What I really like about this is it looks like it is slower and heavier, and it has a little bit more of the, I don't want to say Halo speed, but it's kind of moving in that direction a little bit. It's slowing down a bit. It's heavier. The parry looks freaking awesome. I don't know about other people here, but for some reason you could just throw parry mechanic in a game. A really good parry mechanic it will make a game worth playing alone. And the way that those parries looked in the showcase was the thing it probably excited me the most. But the thing that excited me about the Okami list, and this is something that really didn't stand out, and I don't remember the developers talking about this before. I remember them saying the levels were going to be bigger, which is fine. But what was really interesting is they said they're going to have more of a sandbox feel. And you remember, what I said earlier in the show about how a lot of Microsoft studios, one of their focuses is on the moment-to-moment gameplay, making it more interesting, making it more fun. And I think part of that fun is that dynamism. I am curious about that because that's not really something they've shown us from the trailers. You can't really see that. It looks like a straight up Doom. But if the levels are wider and there's maybe multiple ways to get through different situations, that would be a new spin on things. And actually, I would, Kay, I agree with you that it looks like they're throwing the kitchen sink at this on the surface, but maybe they're opening the door. They're opening the door to making Doom a little bit more, of a sandbox game, or give it some other elements to make it so there is different ways to get through situations. And it'd be interesting to see kind of how they play with that in some more wide linear levels. So that's the thing that excites me the most. I have always been a sucker for that stuff, going back to my early days on PC before I switched back to Xbox consoles in 2001. I was a fan of the immersive sims. I was a fan of and that's one of the reasons I liked Halo so much, or actually loved Halo so much at the beginning, was that it had, there was different ways you could approach situations, or, you had to retry an area that was difficult, and you would try different tactics and strategies based off of the layout and the way the enemies were all very, different in terms of how you would fight them. And so you take different strategies of how you use the environments, or who you attack first, or what weapons you're going to use. And so if now Doom is bringing that to the table, I am way more excited about it. That's the thing that got me hooked on Indiana Jones. That's the thing I'm liking about it. Doesn't really matter what genre it is. It's what I love about Halo. And I think that if they can pull that off, if that's just not like a, like it was a quick mention. So I don't know how far they're going to lean into that, but if it is something they really pull off, that may pull up Doom in my excitement or anticipation for it multiple levels. I like the pacing. Give me some ways different strategic ways to go through things, instead of just being 100 miles an hour, run as fast as you can, grapple onto everything you can, just keep going. Like that's pretty much how I played the last one, when you would get into firefights. And I think that this sounds really interesting on paper.